How we going, Exiles? Belton here. We are back with another little video, something different today, something never done before. New little test, something I think that kind of a cool concept I was brewing for a while, and hopefully something you guys will enjoy. I decided to give a new player 10 mirrors of Kalandra, and I wanted to find out how would the person spend it. I gave them no rules on how they would spend this money, and just kind of let them be. On top of that, this is someone that I have a social relationship with, and I find him to be an interesting character. But I didn't tell him ahead of time that this is what I would be doing. All I said to him, because he's a streamer, he's a content creator, and I'll give him his introduction in a second. All I said to him was the only stipulation was that he had to record what he spent his stuff on because I wanted to make fun of him for being poor. That was what I said to him at the time. However, the actual concept I had going here, which we'll be doing throughout the course of this video, one of the things as somebody with the level of experience and generally speaking wealth that I have league over league, is that I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect at times between the advice that I give because in the eyes of a viewer, perhaps it's not relatable or it's not scalable. When I talk about making 85 mirrors in 6 days, like I did last league, even though maybe that's kind of cool to look at and be like, oh well, that's a lot. Maybe it's not the most relatable to a newer player or to the vast majority of people watching. And so this has obviously been a hurdle I've had for some time. And so I thought what a good way to tackle this would be to take some of the misconceptions as I see it that the average person might have about PoE or about crafting or wealth, and basically create a contrived scenario where someone thinks they're doing like just a meme, but kind of turn it into a social experiment. So what I really intended with this video and what we're going to do today is to see sort of the psychology of someone who is newer to the game, just being given basically limitless access to anything that they want. And given those new opportunities, would they have the same outcomes? Would they make the right decisions? What are they going to prioritize? I do want to put as a disclaimer, obviously due to the nature of temp leagues and standard, this initially was on standard. So I gave him 10 mirrors on standard. I thought this actually might add an additional layer to it because someone who's new to the game obviously knows what's popular right now, but they might not know, the course of 11 years of history where you have access to everything on standard. Are they going to buy alt arts, legacy items? Are they going to gamble it away? Maybe they buy gear set for first couple of leagues, right? There's some interest there. But on top of that too, you know, uh, is that person excited? Do they care about standard, right? He's a streamer, right? When his chat finds out about standard, are they going to disparage his excitement, tell him it's not worth it? How's he going to interpret this? How does he find trading in standard versus the experience in league? I feel like there's quite a few things that can manifest in this situation. And obviously, throughout the course of it, we'll be monitoring what his decisions are and, hopefully from the place of expertise that I have, so to speak, in this category, we can comment on my thoughts about what he's doing, and presumably he'll be thinking out or giving his reasoning for what he's buying throughout that process. And hopefully, in so doing, the content will be more relatable for you guys watching, just to see, all right, well, maybe this guy wants to craft it or reinvest it. All right, well, without having the basis of knowledge that sort of underwrites that, maybe it's a bit more difficult than expected. Or perhaps, obviously I have my theories on this, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it all just does come down to having enough money, right? Often some of the comments I'm left are, oh, I could do that too if I had an infinite budget, or blah, 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 blah. That was the blah 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 part is not maybe a specific criticism, but just the way that my brain interprets it. Nonetheless, though, with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I am considering possibly, if you guys do, let me know, by turning this into a series. I was thinking if this one is well received, in the future we could do things like I can set up like little reward systems for him where I take something I know he's not good at or doesn't have a basis of understanding with, like, all right, for how many, if you can craft me um, a 6 tier 1 item in like an hour, I'll give you X amount of divines or whatever. Just like little challenge rewards like that. or like scavenger systems where different mechanics or things he can invest in, and set these like sort of goalposts with rewards whereby he'll have to figure things out in live time, record it, and then I can review what he does after, just leaving him to his own devices and see, you know, given the specific motivation or currency, or removing some of the barriers that exist potentially, if not in a real sense, at least mentally, for new players, or for you know, people that maybe are experienced but perhaps feel a little bit jaded or discouraged at times because of what they perceive to be barriers in their way. One second here, I will turn off. I have my notifications here. Let's see, volume mixer. We'll turn off those Twitch and YouTube subscriber sounds. Apologies for a sec here. OBS browser page. There we go. So those should be gone now. And yeah, without further ado, we'll jump into it, guys. The person we're going to be talking about today, his name's Hog. What drew me to Hog initially was when I was crafting Low Thunder back in Crucible League. I was making upwards of 15 mirrors a day by the end of the league. A lot of people had gone off to play Diablo 4. I was one of the only streamers at the time who stayed with PoE. And as a result of that, in crafting at the time, and actually still the best boat ever exist, I had an exorbitant amount of money. And I was putting in crazy hours, right? And one day after stream, you know, I scroll down Twitch and I see someone saying, trying Path of Exile for the first time. And of course, the juxtaposition of what I was doing currently at that time and just seeing that stream title, I clicked out of curiosity. And the first thing I see is someone who looks like he's straight out of the movie set of Deliverance, with a packing a lip of tobacco, trucker cap on, slouched in his chair, unshaven, with a Gatorade bottle in his hand. He goes, "All right, boys, so motherfucking Diablo was lame as shit. One sec." Spits his tobacco into a cup and he goes, "So we're gonna try ourselves out some Path of Exile." Instantly, I thought this was hilarious. You know, just a good old Southern boy play the game, and I just thought it was very funny, and you know, sort of shared a sense of humor. It seemed in the brief time I watched, but also, you know, he was doing his first playthrough, and I saw he was in Highgate in Act 4. And I also knew at this time, because of how many people had quit for Diablo, it was pretty hard to get early league items, as well as that you know, the price of everything when you're 2.5 months into a league like that, you know, even getting something like a gold rim might cost you a divine to actually get someone to answer. And given the vast amount of resources I had, when I saw him go to Highgate, I just showed up as a random person, right? I didn't say anything to him or anything like that. Didn't say anything in his Twitch chat. I hadn't spoken there, and I just opened trade with him, and I traded him 10 divines. And he accepted, and then, you know, I left and went back to my hideout. And we weren't even in party, right? I just did it randomly from the thing. And it just made me laugh so hard because it was his first playthrough, right? He didn't know what a divine orb was. And so he just continues on his way to the crystal veins, opens it, and within, you know, first 10 seconds, he goes and he kills a mob, and 2 jeweler's orbs drop. And he goes, "Oh, goddamn, boys! Shit, look at that! Look at that! We found ourselves a jeweler's orb! We gonna get some sockets!" Naturally, I'm laughing my ass off because I just gave him 10 divines, and you know, he's having a, a fit of excitement over 2 jewelers, and that part of it was just kind of when I the sense of excitement I had starting this game years and years ago was recaptured in a moment, and I just found it to be a very funny experience. And since then, Hog and I have you know, maintained a friendship, and you know, he shares a sense of humor that I have that can perhaps be a bit crass, especially to those that you know, maybe aren't from North America. There's a lot of the humor we have, maybe like politically charged or kind of ripping on each other's countries or whatnot. But I figured doing this kind of series with him would be good because, you know, I like to make jokes with people at times, and I know that, you know, he's a good sport about it. So in the times that I talk to him on stream on his end, when in his recordings, sometimes I'm talking to him on Discord, or if he's to watch these videos back and I insult him, I know that he'll take it in good stride and know that it's all done in good fun. So that's an introduction to Hog. You know, I suggest you guys give him a check out. He's maybe not the you know, not at that upper level yet, but definitely a really good dude, and puts in the work, and certainly a funny fella. So you know, I think it's good to support people that are at all stages on their journey, and he's definitely someone that I've been gravitating towards myself. So, with that being said, the one stipulation, as I mentioned when I did give him that currency initially, was that he recorded it and he just posted a video himself of what he decided to buy. And I think that my exact terminology was just pick some highlights from what you're doing, things that you thought were of interest, put it together in a video, and I want to watch after. And of course, at the time, I was just saying this in an insulting fashion, and didn't really disclose to him what my long-term plans are. And so the tone or the nature of the video might seem like kind of in jest at first, but we'll try to take an analytical perspective, make jokes when they're appropriate, and we'll see how this goes. Maybe this video flops, maybe it's super interesting. I don't know. I haven't watched this video yet. I thought that it would obviously color my opinions doing so ahead of time. I did share it on my community page a few days ago when he posted it, but I wanted to give some time for his audience to take it in and some people to watch it on his side before doing this myself. So I will be watching this first way through with you guys, and we'll pause things when I see them, and hopefully it's fun to watch. So with that being said, you can see his title of the video here is Becoming Belton's PoE Experiment 10 Mirrors Gifted. So let's dive in, boys.
I just want to know I want to know how much I've got to pay you to get your hat to sit completely fucking, perpendicular to the floor and straight on your face.
Come on, you piece of junk.
Good intro,
baby. Imagine, Chad. Imagine what we could do with 10 mirrors on.
I like the intro. He's got me beat there.
On League. Imagine if it was real mirrors.
This is fresh coming from a guy who gets excited over 10 jewelers.
I'm gonna turn up the pressure a little bit.
Rich, I've seen you spend 15 seconds exclaiming over finding 3 jewelers. Show your roll.
I was brand new to the game. What do you mean? I just came from Diablo where we had nothing.
You were so poor. You're never brand new. You were knockoff new.
Dude, I came from a game where...
That's a great line, man. Dude, I know I'm laughing at myself right now. That's a good line. You're never brand new. You were a knockoff new. God, I'm funny.
There's nothing. Okay?
Sorry, I don't initiate contact with the help. PM me, please.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, we get to go to the King's hideout. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. We've been granted access. Oh, the King. Hold on.
The stash is close to me. No stealing.
Kind of a creepy hut.
At least he's respecting his elders. This is a good start. Make way for the king.
I know. All these statues around.
Those are actually called trophies. You get them for becoming first place. You might refer to them as,
something I would know nothing.
Yeah, you might call them couponing or what else?
Coupons. Counting coins. 10 coins to the coin star. Oh God. Trophy, first place. What's that?
Awards.
Damn.
Listen to that accent, guys. Like that accent sounds like even when you're using alterations wrong, you alt right.
What kind of social program is that?
Yeah, what's in the war? I don't do anything but lose.
For history, this is James Belton, a.k.a. The GOAT, talking to you on the May 1st, 8:45 p.m., 2024. Today we're going to be conducting a social experiment on, they have a term in finance called pigs get slaughtered. And we're trying to act that out today.
That was a pun because his name is Hog.
To find out how quickly money will disappear when it's put into the hands of the 99%. And I have this theory that you can take the man out of poverty, but you can't take the poverty out of the man. So let's see how many Gucci
Big
t-shirts
facts.
And he's from Atlanta too, isn't he? Oh my God,
He's gonna be in a strip club for like the next 7.5 days. All right.
Shout out to King of
How
Diamonds.
much for mirror service on my bow? I have 11.
Okay. Criticism number 1, boys. Here we go. One thing is wrong in this photo. Can we find out what it is? This is an edited video, gentlemen. And let's just say don't forget to like and sub. sub.
And mirror bows.
Okay, well, we now have 10 mirrors.
All right, Hog.
Also, second criticism. I don't care who you are. When you're like a middle-aged white dude in America and you've got a sexually suggestive anime character, there is going to be a direct overlap between these people and FBI watch lists. That is the only first thought that I have every time. All right? It's like a white windowed van in the 1980s. Not everyone that has one is a serial killer, but it sure as shit does not help your case. Especially when you have the word hog written below her. Because there are just too many implications there that I cannot make up for a YouTube video. Good Lord!
I'd like to let you know
Thank you,
my
bud.
expectations.
All right, I'm gonna
You don't have
go.
to thank you. You don't have to thank you. You have to thank me.
Well, yeah, you just give me 10 mirrors,
You know how
so I'm-
farmers fatten up their pigs so they can slaughter them after? He probably thinks he's sitting there all jolly when he's at the trough, right? I just want to know what. I want to know how much I've got to pay you to get your hat to sit completely fucking, perpendicular to the floor.
This always drives me nuts when I watch his stream. His hat is always slightly tilted. Like, not like, back in the early 2000s, people would wear them sideways, like with the hip-hop, fashion that was at the time, right? Or like Paris Hilton with the trucker hats in that era. I was like, the man's got the Kevin Federline tilt at all times. It's never quite, 90 degrees to the floor, and it's never quite brimmed evenly.
And straight on your face.
That
hat's so tilted, it's a fucking Clinton. All right?
Dude, look, it's vintage, okay?
Yeah, I used to say that too when I'd pick up my buddy's grandmother's. But you know what? 5 years later, nobody believed me.
Sometimes you gotta suck the dust off them fuckers and keep them, going.
Big facts. Big facts.
What I also enjoy is that sometimes in chat, for those of you on YouTube, you guys don't. Sometimes people leave comments; they might not know this. I suppose like the literary concept of the antagonist, right? When you're like, damn, like you blame something on someone, RN Jesus or whatever. On my Twitch streams, as an ongoing gag, I do so about Europe, right? And often when I do that, I start talking like this. Listen here, son, in America, this is what we do. I recently also got myself a nice little stream deck here. So we've got things like this.
All my life, I have avoided Europe and its multitudes of terribleness. History began on July 4th, 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
And our lovely new subscription thing. Oh, I got rid of that. Sorry, here's the audio for it. Listen here, son. I only speak the language of freedom. All right? Knock, knock. Who's there? Capitalism. Shut the fuck up. I find it fantastic. Some people maybe get rubbed the wrong way, but it's fun. This is one of the reasons too I really enjoy Hog, because when I was doing that voice in just as like satirically, and he's from Southern Georgia, so he's got that natural Southern twang, which I just find great. And the obviously the banter back and forth between us. I'm not sure if it translates well to an audience, but I certainly have a fun time talking to him. All right, back to it.
Okay, what do we do with this? 10 fucking mirrors. All right, we now have 10 mirrors. I almost don't want to spend them because I don't want to get slaughtered. I don't want to get slaughtered by the farmer.
Look at this, guys. Look, it's like Animal Farm, all right? We got a pig and a goat. Shit. It's all good, baby.
No, I'm scared to use them. I just got to go flex on chat for a minute.
He's acting like a PoE veteran already, guys. That is exactly the first thing that I would do. The global flex. Dude, that is the most OG move ever. I'm not joking at all. If you've played PoE for a long time, like global channels used to be super core part of the game, because you didn't have things like TFT and not a lot of the infrastructure. Anytime anyone did anything cool, global won. Oh, the man's a vet already. He's a vet.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, for real though. What do I do with 10 mirrors? How can we use 10 mirrors to make more mirrors? I want to do something that.
I love the confidence early. If only it was real money. The fuck do I do with 10 mirrors?
10 mirrors really ain't that much in standard though, is it? I ain't looking at y'all. I don't want y'all to tell me. I'm trying to look at. Day one of observation, the chimpanzee, as expected, has pounded his chest, letting his pack know of newfound status.
I think at this time I was still watching his stream. The Global One Flex. Alright, I'm poor and I'm new. We're on the bottom of the totem pole. I've got 10 mirrors. Global One, baby! Look how rich I am! And your new alpha was born.
New money, baby! New money! Money, 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 money! I'm rich, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Fuck, I'm rich, bitch. I got mirrors on deck. I'm rich, bitch.
This feels like the PoE equivalent of like signing a rookie contract and blowing it in a strip club.
I got 10 fucking mirrors. I'm rich, bitch. Now let me turn this into real money because I'm fucking poor. Who wants to buy these? $500.
Fuck! I just covered my shit in water. My monitor's covered in water. That would be the best ending to this video ever. Can you imagine? How a new player tricked Belton into giving him like $2,000. Oh my god.
The first 26 divines go to 260 something baited expectation cards.
Baited expectation. Okay. Okay. First piece of serious criticism. Hog is a fisherman in real life. You can see the bottom of his stream there. It looks like he's got the word fish. And just in the conversations I've had with him, I know that he's an avid fisherman. I believe he's actually a professional. I'm not. I don't know whether it constitutes professional or not, but he's at the upper level of whatever that is. So naturally, the first thing he does is buy angling. What's that card do again? It's the rod. Is that the rod, right? That's the yeah, a fishing item.
The first 26 divines go to 260 something baited expectation.
Oh, he makes
cards.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. Why you gotta judge the way I'm spending the money that you give me? You've literally done nothing but convert $20 bills into 20 times 1 bills for 17 minutes. This is gonna make me.
I just noticed. I always told Hog that I was too creeped out by his anime character to ever go to his hideout, which is why you'll never see me in there. I told him as a self-respecting middle-aged man, I will not enter a hideout that looks like it was modeled somewhere between Epstein's Island and a creepy thing that you'd find on the back pages of one of your favorite adult websites. And you can see here for the video, because of me saying that. Because I'm Canadian, he put Pamela Anderson's head on the top of the... I just noticed that. The Pam Anderson head. That's a nice touch. Well done, Hug.
Your smoke breaks look short. Look! Let me tell you something. You do your thing, and I'm gonna do mine. And I'm about to buy every fucking fishing card on this goddamn trade site. So can't nobody have... So don't you judge me, Judge! Oh, my God. You gonna fucking cry about my hideout the whole time, aren't you? Here, let's censor the hideout for Belton so he doesn't cry.
See? Don't worry. Protect the children.
How's that? Is that better? Oh my God, we'll just put a fucking tree on top of it. Are you satisfied?
He tries to convince me he's not creepy by placing a giant piece of wood in an anime character's cartoon butt. Well done, Hog.
I wanna walk like a dog, yeah, I'm rich as fuck, yeah, I got 10 fucking mirrors, yeah, 10 mirrors, yeah, just gonna put them in the stash and stare at them. How bad would that piss everybody
All right, so it looks like he's looking up. This looks to be chaos does not bypass energy shield, life conversion.
off? 'Cause
Okay,
I
doesn't grasping males. It
just
looks like.
sat him there and didn't touch him. I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna spin. We're gonna save them, break the whole fucking experiment. Are you spinning around in standard? Yeah, we got him a standard. I've not made it to the level to be granted mirrors in the in the regular league. Yeah, in the fucking season. I hate the name league. It's a fucking season. Excuse me, that's a bad one. Yeah, I think I want this.
I've had conversations with Hog politically, so I know where he stands. It's funny how all of a sudden he's not reached the status where he can be given mirrors in league. How about you earn them, son?
Now, see, he thinks I'm stupid. He thinks I'm gonna piss off.
He bought a mirrored one. Oh my god, tell me he thought this was an original mirror item.
all this away and not try to make some money off of this. And
Oh.
I am fucking stupid. And I
Oh, that's good. I mean, obviously, that honestly, that's not a terrible thing to buy, anyways, because that's one of the. Man, I was actually okay. Sorry for anyone watching on YouTube. I 100% have every intention of doing this from like a critical assessment, like analytical way, but. This might just end up being me laughing more than anything else. I don't know if that'll be refreshing or not, but the purchase itself, actually, I didn't see how much he spent on it. How much did he spend on it? Sorry, let's rewind.
piss all this away and not try to make. See, he thinks I'm stupid. I think I want this.
Okay, there was the price. How much did he spend on that? 2.8 mirrors. 2.8 mirrors. So we spent 28% of the money. 28% of the money. What do we got on the chest here? We got Grace Aura effect. We got the non-curse aura skills. We got oh my god, it's T4. T4 energy shield flat. It's not great or good even. That's quite bad. T4 energy shield flat. Because of recombinators, these recombinators were moved around, guys. They're for anyone who's unaware, on standard in Sentinel League, recombinators during the duration of that league and for the 3 days following Sentinel League, recombinators could be used on items that had been mirrored, which they no longer can do. But because of that, the original overcap fire res chests, which are the ones that give the and this one because of the tailoring orb, it's got 24,343 fire res. That's used for armor stackers, which get the overcap armor is increased by overcap fire res, which means they get 24,000% armor from it. But on top of that, replica dream feather gives flat damage based on your armor as well. So it's crazily good. But that's how those are made. The thing is, though, because recombinators, you can move them from one to another, right? You could take a mirrored item and you can move the mods from that mirrored item to a different base. So in the case of the fire overcap ones, you could have bought one that A, was not mirrored itself, but B, I would not have spent this much money on a base that has the like tier 4 flat ES. It's actually not a terrible mod, ES itself, to have as the third prefix there. But getting a tier 4 I have not looked on the grasping mail market on standard for this specifically. I personally would not spend 3 mirrors on something that had a tier 4 prefix on it, plus the rest of it is just multi-modded. But the idea, the concept here on his part is not bad. The execution maybe not perfect though.
I think I want this. Now, see, he thinks I'm stupid. He thinks I'm gonna piss all this away and not try to make some money.
I love this part though. This kills me. The immediate confidence thinking he's gonna get this, put this up for mirror service, because I remember telling him, sorry, as a preamble before we started this, that the way that I make all the money on standard, which I obviously don't RMT my stuff, so I like to find kind of novel crafting projects and make some crazy items, many of which are posted on this channel for those of you watching on YouTube, and he knows that I mirror craft in leagues too, right? And so I think in his mind he was like, we should make ourselves a mirror item or put some stuff for mirror service. And, yeah, so first thing he does is go and buy an item that's already mirrored, but just the immediate duality of the confidence into the oh shit. That's great. That's great.
And I am fucking stupid. And I am fucking stupid. You are stupid, Hog. You stupid. You know what? No. I'm going to use knowledge against the god himself. Watch this. Aha. Because knowledge is power. What I'm going to do, we could be a stupid redneck and spend all fucking 9 mirrors that we have.
We could be a stupid redneck. First thing he does, buy 65 fishing rods. The ship has sailed, good friend.
9.5 mirrors. Oh, or no. 6, whatever the fuck I have after that mail. We could do that, or we could be smart and take all that money and learn how to craft a fucking bow.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. All right, maybe we're getting some actual commentary on the gameplay here. So he's looking at the bowcraft. He's thinking about that. This is actually good. This is a good line of thinking. It's a little bit delusional to think that A, with that budget, and B, with being a new player. Sorry, I should say that's not an objective reality. Some people could pick up mirror crafting in their first couple leagues. Cost-wise, it wouldn't be possible. But the line of thinking here is good. Thinking about turning currency that is singular use into something that can be, rather than holding something as a liability, turning that into an asset. And that's really the strength of mirror items, right? Is that obviously it has an exorbitant upfront cost, but in particular in standard, which is again where this is, if you can have that generate passive income over time, whatever liabilities or upfront costs you might have had can be paid off, of course, over the duration for which you have it. And naturally, because that requires so little time to just make that trade and get that service, that can obviously be quite lucrative over the long run. Whether or not you do that through mirror items or through investments or anything else, this is the correct way to approach wealth acquisition in the game long term. It depends on your access to liquidity, of course. If you have a very small amount of liquid currency, you're probably going to want to think on items or investments or crafts or whatever that you can sell in a rather small time period, because the compounding nature of rates of return in that sense would be much quicker. But if you have a good pool of liquid currency in a situation like this where he's got 10 raw mirrors, you can diversify a bit, right? Maybe put 10% or 20% into things that you can sell quickly, but you could also put like 50% of it is probably where I would be at that level if I had 10 mirrors. I'd probably put 50 to 60% of that for sure into something that I don't have like an immediate time frame on, because obviously the longer you're willing to allow something either appreciate based on natural market inflation, this will happen in leagues and it'll also happen in standard. And then you also have elements that can be sort of catalyzing factors for appreciation too, which would be like different build, like league starter builds, for example. They tend to be depreciating assets because people play them less and less as the league goes on. People craft for them very heavily at the beginning of the leagues, right? And so, but then you also have kind of like what would happen with like a short squeeze almost, where people also like, not only do you have like this massive surplus of items at the beginning of the league from being crafted, but most people also don't stick with them long term, so they sell that gear, and so you have the supply of people crafting them en masse, but then you also have the supply of people selling them, since you can sell your own gear, of course. And conversely, you have opposite items where things like builds that stack, right? So where you can take a non offensive mod typically, and use that as a way where it can apply both its defensive capacity or its utility function, and also have that apply to an offensive measure. So things like Omni, where where attributes can give you penetration and res and stuff, or strength interdeck stackers, right, where the stats again give you damage, armor stackers, mana stackers. This tends to be, and of course you also have like fizz conversion, layered things with crit or whatever, but those tend to be things that gain value over time because they're builds that require more capital investment, and they tend to be, people are progressive, right? Like people always want to improve their stuff. So if you have, rather than buying things on what people need right now, if you can focus on what they're going to need at some point in the future, you can almost ensure that, and you obviously this is talking in a general sense, when you're looking at the overall market, if you can anticipate these trends, you're always going to be able to pretty much rest assured that you're going to have a nice rate of return on whatever it is you put your money into. So it's good to see that he's starting to think in this line of reasoning.
I say we take all this money and learn how to craft a bow so we can be ready for next fucking league so I can make some goddamn money. That's what I think we'll do. I don't give a damn about buying an item in standard league. I don't give a fuck about that. I never play. I would like to piss that fuck. I mean, just 12-inch piss fire hose dick that shit out. All fucking 10 mirrors. If I could learn something out of that, learn how to craft.
Boom. That is the correct answer, gentlemen. That is the correct answer. That's good. He's smarter than I thought. Obviously, I know most people don't put a lot of value into standard currency. I collect things there, alt art skins and stuff like that.
Maybe something for next.
Alt art skins and things like that. You can see here. Let me pop up the game real quick. You can see here I've got, different demigods and different alt arts and whatnot. But obviously that's just cosmetic, right? If your point of was to try to prove that you're improving, or if you're presented the opportunity to improve, you can obviously use things like Craft of Exile, but there's nothing that's a substitute for doing it yourself. There's obviously a much more, like, not being able to just hit backspace when you make a mistake, when you have to understand the amount of time that it takes to like roll imprints, gather beasts, all of that stuff. All of these things factor in and should factor into a decision-making process in terms of opportunity cost, and as well what you actually enjoy doing. Because an idea that is a great idea on paper, if you are miserable doing it, that is not a great idea. Because the best people in this game are not necessarily the ones that are the best in a vacuum or in the flash of a pan, but the people who can find something, do it pretty well or very well, and do that consistently over time. That those are always be the ones who win out. So this is a very, very sorry, let me get the internet capture back on. This is very encouraging that he's thinking in this way.
Next league. You're not getting it at all, dude.
And sorry, and that's another point. For those of you who don't care about standard, which I know is probably the majority of people watching this, or people who get bored with a league, right? By the end of a league, or if you have stuff on standard, it's a great place to like test things out, right? If you want to see if you like a build, or if you want to, try crafting, or if you want to try whatever it is, right? Having extra currency that you don't value in the immediate does not mean that there is no value to that, right? Something that you're giving no value to now does not mean that you will have no value to it ever. And even if you don't care about something in standard, it could provide you the experiential, like the work experience, basically, to understand things in a more hands-on sense. So for the people watching, if you want to improve and you have a sincere, obviously, motivation to do so, that's a really good idea that he has right now.
You'd rather me piss away that on some cool stuff that I'm going to play for one day instead. I could take that and get mats and learn how to craft. Which is what we've been trying to do, but what have we been bitching about the past 3 days? We don't have enough shit because it's expensive. So now we're...
Look at that. This is funny. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting him like this, but we'll see how it plays out. But a lot of new people, my experience is that the one thing that they tell themselves why they can't craft is because of currency. And I think that that's a fallacy. I think because crafting can be scaled throughout pretty much anything. Of course, if you compare yourself in your first week of playing the game to someone like myself, it's going to seem like you can't craft for shit, right? But the process of crafting and understanding it conceptually, and how different currencies are interdependent and codependent, and different UIs and crafting styles, bestiary, harvest, he's on standards like recombinators, bench crafting, mutual exclusivities, influence, synthesis. Eldritch / Fracture, right? Understanding all of that stuff is and how to best optimize it in both the use of time, currency, and within market effectiveness, and then being able to compare that effectiveness versus your effectiveness in other scenarios like maps, is actually a lot more nuanced, I think, than most people give it credit for. I'm not sure if it's just a mental barrier for some people. They think currency is the one determining factor, but we'll see how he goes on with this.
We're rich. Let's fucking craft. 10 mirrors is nothing. It's something. It's 10 mirrors I didn't have before. Look, we don't necessarily have to like craft. I mean,
I love this. His chat is telling him that 10 mirrors is nothing. If my chat said that, I'd be like, all right, pull up your profile, bud. I'd like to see that viewer's profile.
obviously, we're not. Gonna
Everyone's a
craft
critic.
a fucking Belton bow because this man has an entire fucking army and a wealth of knowledge, knows what he's doing, doesn't fucking mean, right? I'm just talking about if I can make a bow that's somewhat decent that some fucking scrub like me would.
This is, sorry, again, I don't mean to keep interjecting on him here, but there's a variety of important critiques. I can't see his chat in this, but you can tell that he has an idea. He's excited about it, and it seems like someone is discouraging them from doing it, right? Don't listen to these people. You're going to get it all the time. If you ask other people to validate your idea, there's always a million reasons not to do something. The way that you learn is through failure, right? Obviously when you watch videos like mine or content creators, typically you're looking at highlights of things that they go through. It's not as exciting to watch the 22,000 hours I've played this game over the 11 years and the hundreds or if not thousands of hours of failure and crafting and looking on Craft of Exile and looking on the trade website and learning all that stuff, right? But all of that would probably constitute failure in the eyes of most people who are on looking. This doesn't just exist for content creators too. Obviously, it's more omnipresent when you have people in live time trying to validate or invalidate every one of your actions. But I know people often look to their peers or look to the community at large for ways to confirm that their time is valuable or that they're doing something that's not a complete waste. Don't do that. If everyone were so smart, then why are they so abjectly mediocre, right? If you have a good idea and you can support that with a reasonable line of thinking, you know yourself better than anyone does. Don't ever let someone discourage you or tell you how to value your time, because you'll never find a hater that is doing better than you are.
Would buy at League Start that give me some fucking change. I think that's a good idea. We gonna get rich and reinvest these mills. We gonna show these rich bitches that we can get rich, escape poverty, and get up in the big leagues. No, I'm just curious here.
Oh, he's back to looking at fucking. Oh no, he's back. Oh, just when I was getting proud of him. Oh. He has a fucking fantastic idea. Someone in chat questions him and tells him it's nothing, and he goes and buys a fishing ring. I don't know if anyone in life has ever tried to start a business or anything like that before, right? People are always on your side, right? They always support you. I support the dream. That's fantastic, buddy. You're going to do great. But deep down, I feel like most people often, they want you to succeed. They just don't want you to do better than they are, right? And once you have access to something that's when the people that were your biggest supporters will become your biggest haters. Don't listen to these people, man. You had a good idea. This. I'm not saying like fishing gear as an investment. Like it's meme gear. It's fine. But as a new person, and what I really would have not hoped or liked, but what would have been the better decision here, obviously, would have been to invest into. No, he's still got some currency left. We'll see how he does. But this was an immediate divergence from his fantastic idea a minute ago.
There it is, boys. There it is. We got it. We got it, boys.
There's something to be said for about the fact, look, this is a video game too, right? If something brings you joy and it makes you happy, he loves fishing things. I love like alt arts, and I have like thousands of mirrors worth of discharge gear. Most of the time that I made that discharge wasn't good, but I love the skill. If you have currency and crafting and getting better is not your priority, have fun with it too. I shouldn't sit here like the miserly old Scrooge and say that time spent having fun is wasted, but it's nice to see him excited. From a critical standpoint, though, obviously, if your motive is to improve, the previous idea was much better.
English plate! We got it!
Pardon me.
There it is. Look how fucking beautiful it is. Look how beautiful. Now we gotta go gloat. It was only one mirror.
How quickly we adjust to our new value system. I've watched this guy's do. Shit, we got it. It was only goddamn one mirror.
Look how much it is on the trade sales.
By the way, guys, this is an insipid metaphor for how government works. We're going to send over $60 billion. Yeah, we're going to be funding a 900 trillion quadrillion government budget over Rehal. It's funny how it becomes just as soon as it's someone else's money.
Only one for a mirror 6 months ago. 69 mirrors, 60, like no one else is really selling there. Now, here we go. I know that's not good enough.
Oh. Okay, this is. It looks like he's. I'm not sure if he watched the video again. I just told him to clip together what he spent things on and send me the highlights. This is how I started off my bow, of course, for the league. So this is good that he's trying to learn. As an objective criticism on standard, you could just buy better bases. But knowing that his intention and most people's intentions will not be to amass wealth in standard, I assume he's just trying to develop his skill set right now. But the correct decision here on standard, at least, and in league, this is most often the best decision too. Although, given the fact that Cortex doesn't drop triple synth items anymore, in most cases you're going to have to manually synthesize things. But certainly on standard, you should just buy a synth base, not manually synth it yourself. Especially because standard has legacy +1 arrow synth bases and crucible trees too, actually. But again, he hasn't been playing that long, so I don't think his mind would go to that place where he would know to go buy a crucible tree bow.
Fuck. See, we already fucked up. You stupid ass.
He didn't synth the synth
I
item.
fucking
Oh wait,
knew
he
it.
6-linked it. Okay. He 6-linked the bow together, guys. Before the correct move here. I'm sure most of you already know this. You just want to get a triple synth. Obviously, if you want to get the correct synth mods on there, putting the sockets and the 6-link on there is actually the last thing you do. Because if you're using a tempering orb will change the amounts of sockets. You don't use tempering orbs for elemental bows, but for a fizz bow, you would. And so the sockets and the links is a late stage thing. Like you do that after finishing crafting. But also if you happen to buy it, like let's say you're buying a base off trade and it's already 6-linked and you want to maybe, you're going to try to get an elemental one because you've bought one with good synths on it. What you want to do there then in that case is transmute it, make it magic, take some imprints, and then go in synthesis, imprint until you get the triple synth.
But without an imprint. Man, if you fucking dumb, there's just no fixing it.
He's not dumb. This is like, as much as I like to shit on him now. These are the kind of mistakes, though, that I was just talking about where it's really important, right? The best teachers are always your fail. You don't learn anything by succeeding, right? You might learn, the market a little bit better. You might learn, like, how well something will sell. But in terms of actually being able to produce things, you're going to learn a lot more from failing than you will from when you succeed. If you get really lucky, for example, like let's say in the 1 in a trillion chance, you use like a chaos orb and you hit a perfect bow and has that improved you at all as a player? No. these kind of decisions, even though I don't like widely publicize them because they obviously this stage of my development as a player was a very long time ago. These are the kinds of mistakes I would have made all the time, right? In fact, even as recent as in Sentinel League, I had a helmet that I had the triple temple suffixes on with perfect synthesis, and this is before you could Vivid Vultures existed, so a perfect synth helmet with the triple temple mods, which wasn't available any other way but um, through recombinators. I used and this is with the old harvest. I saw there's a harvest mod that said reforge 50 times, choosing the best mod, and I had suffixes can't be changed, and I didn't know at the time. And this is like while at this stage I'd been quite an experienced mirror crafter. I'd probably made over 100 mirror items at this point, and I thought that the harvest reforge with the 50 best would do was that it would reforge the helmet, like it would roll 50 times of mods and pick the best one and then put that on there. But what it actually does is physically roll it 50 times, so it removed the suffixes cannot be changed on the first reroll, right? Which meant the base that I had, the perfect synth base, which I had to recombinate 3 times to get those mods together, was now gone because, or I'd have to start from scratch. So and I had spent I think 15 hours in like 11 mirrors, and 11 mirrors back then was significantly more in a relative sense than it is now. That's an example of me doing something similar to this. That's the last time I can think where I made a major mistake like that. Um, but certainly in the time that I have been playing this game, I have made hundreds, if not thousands, of mistakes similar to this. It's easy to get down on yourself when you make those. And the only it's not the most helpful advice, but don't get down on yourself. That's the best advice I could give, is to push through that. Remember the mistake. And again, I can guarantee you the next time he goes to synthesize something, he's going to remember that moment and he's not going to make the mistake again. So when those things do happen, it can be frustrating for sure. But just know that if you persist, there's almost like an autonomic response in your body that tells you, what, it's the same reason why, like when a kid, you can't shelter children too much, right? Because the first time a kid puts his hand by the flame when you're trying to cook, like in a pan, and his hand gets burnt a little bit, sure, you want to protect the hand, but now the kid knows that fire is hot. And through those experiences, we learn what to do and what not to do. And it's no different in the game, right? Nobody comes out of this shell being perfect. And these feelings of of guilt about fucking up can be a lot worse when you're streaming, I'm sure, because there's an audience of people who are actively critiquing every decision that you make. I experience this all the time. Not that I make that many mistakes these days, but just in terms of how I carry myself or how I look that day or what music I'm listening to. There's, constantly having people at all times telling you what they think about everything that you do, say, or whatever. It can magnify, obviously, any feelings of joy or guilt or whatever you might have. So, Hogger, if you're listening to this, don't worry about it. I'm sure you'll improve next time.
If you dumb, you dumb. You're gonna fucking lose it. You don't deserve shit, Hog. Nothing. You don't deserve nothing.
You shut the fuck up. Only I talk to you that way. Alright? Fucking, you took our job. Alright? They took our job. You don't talk to that. You don't talk to my fucking help that way.
Fuck! I'm not gonna be able to do any of that on League Start. Hell, we can't even finish.
Yeah, if you notice, he didn't make that mistake again, right? He went with it with the imprints. Factually, on standard, though, again, just because it's on standard, I'll make a quick brief comment on this. It would have been much cheaper just to buy a triple synth bow or to buy a base. Crate chicks are fairly expensive on standard. So using those actual imprints is not worthwhile. It would have been better just to buy a bunch of bow bases. Like you probably could have bought, even with a 6-linked one, you probably could buy a 6-linked spine bow cheaper than a single imprint on standard. In League, that's not the case, but actually, sorry, this League it would have been because of Black Morgan. But yeah, you don't have to do, like, unless you have some let's say you have a perfect tempering orb on there or like a drop only mod. It's not super necessary to do that. I'll show you guys real quick here. One of the things that differs between what he's doing and what I did, it looked like based on what he alluded to earlier in the video. He was sort of replicating how I made my bow at the beginning of the league, which is obviously flattering that he's trying to get some inspiration from people he knows have had proven success in the past, and that's always a good thing to do. It's important to qualify your information, right? But if you notice here, right, I didn't just have a single bow base, right? You can see here, these are all item level 86, 87. What I would have done there is do 50 of them at a time, because the imprint ratio is not like buying a new bow base is only 20 chaos or something. So small mistake on his part there, but nothing huge.
It's the fucking campaign. How are we supposed to learn how to craft something at league start and fucking make money? Oh, that's the stupidest. While ambitious, it's very, very stupid, not realistic. Can't believe it.
That's again. This is one of the fallacies I was talking about too. What he just said there. It's not stupid and it's not unrealistic to craft at league start. It's stupid and it's unrealistic to craft a mirror bow, the most expensive and sought after and competitive bow base or item based to mirror craft at the beginning of a league. There's a good quote. I know people feel all types of way about him, but Jordan Peterson's book, 12 Rules for Life. There's a chapter that is called "Don't compare yourself to who someone else is." Or sorry, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who somebody else is today. Right? If you're looking, since you're watching this video, I assume obviously, maybe some of you use me as a baseline. Don't, right? I assure you, when I started this game 11 years ago, I didn't look anything like I was now. I obviously had the advantage at the time I was learning the game that, at most of the points, stages through that, because I'd been there through the whole time. I was often at the front of what I was doing, so I didn't have anyone I've never watched anyone. I didn't have a teacher, right? And that's part of why I know so much, is because I had to figure out everything for myself, because there wasn't anyone that I could replicate in the things that I wanted to do. So, but if you are following someone, or if you're using someone as inspiration, don't sit there and expect that you're going to be the exact same, right? Like, if you're watching a professional sport as a fan and you're inspired, you're not going to, all of a sudden be Ronaldo the first time you throw on a pair of cleats, right? But one of the fallacies, again, though, is that crafting only exists on the high end. Profit crafting, in many cases, especially early on in the league, is not about making a singular, very expensive item. Making lots of sort of smaller to mid-tier items can be equally, if not more, lucrative, because of the compounding nature on rates of return that you get there, right? So if you craft something for 20 or 5 divines and you sell it for 20, right, and then you take those 20 divs and you craft 4 of those same item again, right? Now it's like, okay, well, you've got now you got 80 divines, right? And it's like that 5 to 80 divines might actually be more money than crafting something for 100 divines might give you back in a much slower time period. So you have to factor these things in. So yeah, it's not really realistic for someone starting out that you would anticipate mirror crafting, but you can scale your ideas to your skill level. And keep in mind that, if you're newer to the game, there's a lot more people who play the game than than there are who play the game like me. Despite the fact people like me are more visible because of platforms like Twitch and YouTube and whatever. It might seem like everyone's playing the same game that I am, but there's a lot more people who are going to be exactly in the same position you're at if you're learning, right? And they're going to need the same stuff that you do, right? So don't think that you have to craft towards the level of people like myself, right? Just think about it in a more sort of rational sense like that, and it should bolster your confidence and a little bit more if you're ever skeptical of it.
But of course I can believe I just did that. You're a fucking idiot. You don't pay attention to shit. You just fucking blast through. You don't pay any goddamn attention to anything you're doing. And so then you make fucking expensive mistakes like this. And this is why you don't deserve anything nice at all. I'm blown away how fucking stupid I am. It's just unfucking believable.
Again, don't take my job. Only I insult you. Don't get down on yourself. Also, that spitting in the bucket was the first. Do you see what he just did there? Let's rewind it. This is the first thing I was telling you about how I came across him in the first place.
Ain't nice at all. I'm blown away how fucking stupid I am. It's just unfucking believable.
The first time I opened the stream. Yeah, motherfucking Diablo was fucking lame as hell. He fucking spit in the bucket. I was like, I'm in. Sub. Follow.
Good job, Dodo. I was hoping to buy a new bow and just mirror it, resell it, but that ain't gonna happen either because it's obviously it's standard. 1 year ago. Look at this, listed a year ago. Belton listed 2 years ago. Like, dude, throw that away.
It's important, guys, you do market research if you're ever buying anything in leagues or in standard. One thing he didn't do here, right? He's looking at my bow in league, and he's probably just looking up for something similar, except he's looking at a fizz bow. But he's not looking. He's not even looking for crucible trees or sorting by PDPS. The reason why I have a bow listed 2 years ago is because I have 3,300 tabs on standard. So obviously I'm not going to go through and sort those things. But this is a mistake. This is a big mistake actually. He's looking. He's not like. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what you're going for. It could be a fucking 2 chaos item or a 10 chaos item. If you're going to craft something or if you're going to buy something, the biggest mistake you can make is to not do that with intentionality. And if you're, especially something like a weapon, if you're going to cheapen out on the time and the research that it takes to know exactly what it is that you want, you're going to have less than optimal and sometimes even less than average results. One of the bigger things that I often encounter when people ask me for crafting advice is I tell them, okay, all right, tell me what base you want, what implicits you want, and what prefix 1, 2, 3, and suffix number 1, 2, and 3 are on that item. And usually most people can tell me, well, I want, a fizz item with X amount of DPS, and, I definitely want to have, like, tier 1 fizz and plus 2 arrow on there. And it's like, okay, well, until you can answer every single one of those things I just gave you, that's what crafting is, right? Crafting is allocating a desired modifier in the correct place and finding out how to do that efficiently with currency and with time. If you don't know how to answer that question, what question you are asking is not a crafting question, it is a build question, right? Because your build is what relates to what you want on something. And so often you could, by pointing that sort of thought experiment to people, or that, I often say it rhetorically, as like a, not as a teaching moment, because it's a little patronizing, but as a way for people to realize that it's not that they don't understand crafting, it's that they haven't put in the appropriate amount of time to understand what it is they actually want to craft yet. Similarly, he's making a mistake here in thinking he wants a bow, right? But he has not put in, especially on a weapon, this obviously magnifies itself, and especially a weapon on an attack build, by not paying attention, like by not looking whatsoever at what he should be buying here.
Yeah. Which step of spinning the 10 mirrors is completing your atlas? Do you understand how fucking shitty of a player I am, dude?
Also, I should point out, this is magnified by the fact that he has people watching him right now. So nobody in his, like, usually when I check Hog out, he's got, 30, 40, 50 people watching him. The fact that nobody in his chat has pointed this out to him is pretty bad.
Fuck. Do y'all understand what kind of season I've had? Granted, it's all self-imposed, but I don't give a fuck about that. I'll do that atlas when I'm good goddamn ready to do it. I'll get that done when it's done. Motherfucker's got an item on here from 2 years ago. Okay, I'm starting to lose faith. When one of the top crafting creators offers you 10 mirrors for free, you don't you don't say, is standard league. Like, you take the 10 mirrors and say thank you. Like, that's why we're in standard league. Problem with standard is I buy one item and now I have 8,860,000 fucking, 38 million armor. So, yeah. Dude, this character's already fucking, this shit already can't die right now. Fire resistance, 24,567. Don't think we're gonna have any kind of problem with anything. Wow, we ain't got shit. We're about to get the fuck off the standard league. Okay, so what we need to do is be smart. Figure out how to turn this 5 mirrors into something for the league. Could just use them and buy these demigods and convert them to MTX. 50 fucking mirrors for that, Jesus. I mean, realistically, there's nothing to do with these mirrors, right? You're about to watch 2 mirrors disappear. Y'all ready to watch 2 mirrors disappear? Now you see it. Now you don't. Boom.
That's not a bad way to spend standard currency. the MT, I obviously have done it myself, but one thing I do notice observing here, this is not a criticism of him, is that when this proposition was made in the first place, it was obvious he was fairly excited. It's funny how much the influence of other people telling us, he's not showing his chat, but you can tell people in his chat are saying, "Oh yeah, fuck standard, blah blah blah." It's like, well, you just rationally here. It's not like you're a top performer in league, right? It's not like, and which is why it's obviously fairly exciting, right? Or if you just wanted to invest it, right? You could just buy Hinakora's locks with it or something like that you think is going to go up over time, or buy a couple alt arts or whatever. It's not like you have to go over to standard and spend 100 hours there or whatever, right? Or you could buy something like a bunch of divination cards, or you could buy just mirrored items for a build and put a build together just to have like something to log out in, right? But it's interesting to see the influence of your environment on like your enthusiasms. I think that's actually like an incredibly important thing in PoE. I've mentioned before, like if you've watched my video, the mirror making mentality, which is I think one of the better videos I've ever put together. It's over a year old now probably, but I suggest checking that out if you haven't seen it. But one of the things I talk about is the importance of establishing networks in the game, just to find people to bounce ideas off of. If you need to like borrow money, maybe borrow money. People you can split things with if you enjoy doing one thing and they enjoy doing another. But also just having someone to like reinforce, that's part of the reason why I stream, why I make content, right? Having a greater purpose outside of yourself, having someone to tell you it's all good, fuck it, I made the mistake too when you're down on yourself, or someone to be like, oh dude, that's fucking sick when you find something that's really cool. Like that level of motivation is incredibly important. As I mentioned earlier in this video, the best people at this game from an outcome basis are not the ones that are the best in a vacuum, right? They're not the luckiest people. They're not whatever it is that people think they are. They're the people usually that have been the most consistent, that have put in the most time, and the people that don't quit when failure slaps them in the face. And it's again, all of these things are magnified when you're a streamer because it happens in real time. And I'm obviously certainly subject to this as well, as any of you guys who are watching on Twitch now probably know. But it's interesting to see in live time from a viewing perspective how quickly someone can be excited about something and then feel so exasperated and demotivated by it because of the negative reinforcement.
Poof, it's gone, boys. Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's Leonidas, boys. Leonidas.
So he got a demigod's.
Do we piss away 2 more on the helmet? Because we'll never use it.
Okay, this is an objective criticism too. The two demigods he's buying are the 2 worst demigods probably. The reason demigods are like not super popular. I mean, those ones do look nice. They have their own unique art. If you take a look at my guy here, so we've got the alt art demigods chest on here, right? The reason why the alt art one, I mean, obviously alt arts just in general tend to be more sought after, but specifically alt art demigods. If you see if I turn it off, we lose the glow. The alt art demigods chest gives a glow, which is unique to it. Whereas the regular demigods, even though it's a cool artwork, it doesn't have any external effect on it, right? And the other demigods pieces. So this helmet here, demigods immortality, that gives you 10% character size, which is why people go for immortality and not presence. Or sorry, the one that Triumph, the one he's getting. And the demigod's amulet, this is like 200 mirrors or something. This gives 20% character size. But the thing that is emblematic really of demigods is that it makes your character bigger. Because when you use it as an MTX, especially with like auras and stuff going, it's kind of hard to see the artwork sometimes. But you can always see yourself as a comparably bigger person. So again, because he's destroying them to put them on his character, it doesn't really matter, I suppose, if he enjoys the artwork of it. He should, but from an investment perspective or opportunity cost perspective, the ones that give character size are definitely going to be way more expensive in the future, right? And because there's a limited amount of them, you should certainly be prioritizing those ones first. So even if you did like the artwork on these, buying those ones as the first 2 is objectively not a good decision.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now he's looking like a man. Well, I wanted to spend it on crafting stuff, but I realized that You're right. That ain't gonna do shit. Because A, it's too fucking expensive. B, it's literally useless because we're not gonna be able to get any of that shit on League Start. Hell, even to craft some cluster jewels, you're gonna need annulments. We ain't gonna find those or have the currency to buy them. Kind of pointless.
All right, that's that it. All right, looks like it's it. So, so let's review. What did he get there? He got a bunch of fishing rods, a fishing rig. He spent 2.8 mirrors on a chest that he thought was a mirror item, like that he could mirror service, but then realized it was actually mirrored with 3 crafted mods and a tier 4 ES roll. Then he got 2 of the worst demigods and screwed up crafting some bows. And at the end, the conclusion on his part was that crafting isn't worth it. Well, suffice it to say, gentlemen, I think there were lots of takeaways from that video. I think that, most of them I covered in live time there, but naturally the conclusions I would have come to would be quite different. Hopefully what comes across in seeing that, though, would be that, oh shit, I missed a 3 mirror sale and trade. Oh, shit. Fudge. Fudge. Wait. What? 3 mirrors, 4 mirrors, 5 mirrors, 6 mirrors, 7. Fuck me. I missed 7 mirrors of... I missed 7 mirrors while reviewing that video. 1 second here. Yeah, classic. It's like every time I go have a cigarette. That every single time I go to have a cigarette, I have someone message me for like a 10 mirror item I've had listed for like a month, and as soon as you get back, it's like, oh, sorry, got one. It's like, no. But anyway, yeah, back to the video there for Hog side. The big takeaways I would see, I could tell he's getting discouraged when he would screw up things. I've already commented on that. That's not a huge deal. Just try to push past that. You'll get better. Number 2, don't compare yourself to people that have, look at people, look at who, if you are a better crafter today or a better player today than you were yesterday, that is what is important, right? You're not going to ever compare to someone who has tens of thousands of hours more experience than you do, especially if they have esoteric interests like I do in crafting and currency making. Number 3, your environment is important. People that discourage you, people who encourage you, will certainly contribute to your success. If you guys know, watching on Twitch, I often hide my Twitch chat while I'm crafting for this exact reason, right? When people come in, why are you doing this? Wouldn't this be better? This is how I would do it. Whether or not it's meant to be like negative reinforcement, it like breeds that self-doubt and like is this really what I should be doing, or having to justify your actions. Try to cut that energy out around you. Obviously, when you're a streamer, like as he was here, that's not really an option. But for those of you watching this, who play by yourself or have a rather insular community, make sure the people that are around you are, they're adding value to your life and bringing joy to you. And if they're just people that bring you down, then find better people, or a different guild, or maybe stop reading Reddit or stop watching Twitch, whatever it is, right? Don't allow other people to dictate your goals for you, because again, conventional wisdom is never going to logically will never produce anything outside of conventional results. And if everyone else were so goddamn smart, everyone else would stop being so goddamn abjectly mediocre. Another thing to point out, the crafting thing, again, massive fallacy there. Using a mirror crafting a bow as a reason to justify not crafting at League Start because it's too difficult and you won't have the currency for it is naturally a flawed line of thinking. I recognize he's not going to take 10 mirrors in Standard and start crafting 10 Chaos items, right? But that's what you should do at League Start. It's not like you're going to, okay. There are some exceptions. Usually one of the first things I personally craft is a mirror item, but it's because I have the skill set to be able to generate the currency to get that going earlier on through other means. But in generally speaking, though, right, like the currency that you're investing in be generating through the means of like market means, so not through just having a drop in maps, whether that's trading, flipping, crafting, whatever, something where you're explicitly either producing or creating materials or wealth through the transit or the exchange of those. you can scale that at any level. And don't, but yeah, but also another thing, probably a last point here. Don't use anecdotal results as a reason to qualify or disqualify something. Almost everything in Path of Exile can be quantified or codified using craftofexile.com or just basic math. Like I often do napkin math on Notepad if you guys watch my stream, right? If you know that a coin flip, right? Somebody tells you, hey, heads or tails. If you guess correctly, I'll give you 3 times your money, right? Assuming the coin's equally weighted. If you guess heads and it flips tails 4 times in a row, it doesn't matter. You should continue taking that every time because, as a matter of mathematical certainty, over time you will have times 1.5x, right, or a 50% return profit margin. Um, and like similarly, obviously, certain things like double corruptions you can hard target and hard codify like that, but crafting and stuff like that in general too. Um, the right decision is the right decision because of what has led up to that decision, not because of the outcome that comes from that decision. That is one of the biggest things that if I could drive home to anyone playing PoE, is you are not right or wrong based on how it turned out. You are right or wrong based on what led you to that action. Now, does that matter in a vacuum? As I've mentioned, best players, are not ones who are the best in a vacuum, right? In the same way that say somebody's first mob that they kill at the start of a league, rushing through Twilight Strand, drops a mirror. All right, for one moment, that guy's the wealthiest person in the league, right? Is that person in perpetuity the best player, wealthiest person? No, right? Certainly not. Obviously, it's going to dissipate. The decisions that you make in crafting or whatever. I know obviously in the moment recency bias can take over, and if you fail, you might tell yourself you're going to fail into the future every time, and you might just avoid it. Similarly, if you hit something on the first try, like "I am God, hear me roar," and you just go down and blah blah blah. Take the time to understand why you are doing something, and how it how something is done is often a focus of YouTube guides or things you see on streams or whatever. And while obviously that can be helpful to someone who's completely ignorant of it, understanding why and being able to reason that out yourself is a far, far, far more important element to any decision-making process in this game. And it's one that that skill, if you foster and nurture that, that is how you will truly become a better player. So that was an interesting thing. I'm glad I got a chance to watch that. I had some good laughs. I think Hog's a good dude. I don't like seeing him get down on himself. I think I do that myself too. I don't know if that's his. Anyway, never mind. But yeah, it's if any one of you experiences that feeling in a vacuum, don't put too much weight into it because everyone has the capacity to be whatever they want in this game. And then probably, there's obviously regional differences and infrastructural differences societally that maybe prevent those on a grander scale. But if you have free will and you are motivated and you want to improve yourself, you can. So don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Let me know what you guys thought watching that, though. I know the folks on Twitch, I haven't been able to see your guys' comments, but I can see, I can corner my eye, I could say, and glazing by. For the folks on YouTube, if you thought this was interesting and maybe on another series in the future like this or another video with Hog, where I could maybe give him different things to do, could do it in League as well, right? Maybe challenge him, see how many challenges he can get done in like a couple hours or something like that, and put bounties or rewards on it, or challenge him to craft something without making any mistakes and different rewards and things like that. Just a lot of things. I think it's interesting to have the juxtaposition of myself with the experience that I have and someone who is newer to the game and kind of bridging that gap so that hopefully you guys as the viewers seeing this can either find yourself in maybe some of my commentary, but more so in his, and then recognize that, hey, this is a mistake I've also made before. Funny, other people do this too. Okay, then I pause it. This is how you should have done it. Maybe that's a little bit more relatable than me showing you videos on how to craft a mirror item or something like that, right? I don't know how well that translates. So this is obviously a novel concept for myself. For the people watching on YouTube, obviously I can see this is an hour and 18-minute long video. Naturally, I know some of my videos have gone this long. This one a little bit unique given the fact we're watching somebody else and commenting. It's going to be a little bit more drawn out. And of course, we had the introduction sort of explaining how Hog came about and my ideas on this. So if we do another one of these in the future, we'll try to keep them a bit shorter since we won't have to do that preamble and whatnot. But yeah, I'd love to know, guys. Obviously, making content is not. I already know the stuff that's on these. So if you do like this, or if you have any ideas that would be maybe sort of tangential to this, or little tweaks or whatever, please let me know, because I'd love to keep making things. And sometimes it feels like some of the ideas that come to me might just, even though I could probably get the clicks out of it or whatever, it doesn't feel like I'm providing anything unique in that experience. And I don't care to make meaningless content. So hopefully, you're able to learn something from this, or at least maybe get some laughs out of it, because I find Hog to be quite a funny guy. So please leave me a comment with some feedback, and hopefully we can get another chance to do a video with him in the future. Remember to check out Hog's channel and say what up to him sometime. And if you enjoyed this and you're new to my channel, consider throwing down a like and a sub. Appreciate that. And otherwise, I hope you guys are enjoying the rest of the league. Some crazy things going on right now. Yeah, I think that's it. I always suck at leaving these videos off, so let's find. I got my new my fancy Steam Deck. Let's throw in a.
Damn, boy.
Damn!
Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy.
Thick boy crafting crew out. Peace.